remember when I first started down this path, when I first started learning these tools, and I came out of a really dysfunctional, broken, redneck kind of environment. So everything shifted, and like everything. So you'll see things begin to open up now. Yeah. So you'll kind of go from this space of, okay, I'm stuck in traffic, let me make good use of this time and do positive self-talk and visualize my goals and like see the things that I want to have happen come into fruition. And then eventually you'll get to a place where you won't be stuck in traffic because you'll bypass it. Well, you just won't be there. Like the traffic, someone else will be at the traffic jam. A lane will open up and you'll just like fire right through. So come on in the room, you guys.
This room?
Yeah. 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 Come on in. Join the group. So that's good. That's awesome. Good first start. Yeah.
Well, just knowing that there's certain things daily, something that you think that it's just it's normal part of the routine. And how fast you can change that and day, that day, that week, day, you can change it positively.
That's right.
So it's good.
Yeah, absolutely. When you think about just on a stress level, right? How so what's the resistance around sitting in the room? Talk to me about the resistance about sitting in the room. Bring it with you.
Okay.
Let's just do it. The more we dig around, the less time we have to play. Okay. I want to sit there. It's just like, yeah. Waffle, resist. Like maybe that's the pattern in your life.
Wow.
So, when there's that sort of, okay, so when you think about stress, and more heart attacks happen on Monday morning at 8 a.m. than any other time or day of the week.
Are you serious?
Yeah. Oh yeah. It's like, that's when the majority of the heart attacks happen. So the thing you need to ask yourself is this. What is their relationship to work? What is their relationship to their career? Because there's a belief system here that they don't like what they're doing. Or why would that be the predominant time and day that people, redline their stress? So it's not, you see, I'm like, okay, one of the things, let me put it to you this way in a metaphor. So when when you're at the checkout and they ask you if you want to donate money to some cure, I always say no. Because fundamentally, I don't subscribe to the concept of spending money to find a cure. I think the cure is in here. Because the manifestation is in here. So, and I've worked with people that have had addictions and terminal illnesses. And through that process, the question is, what caused you to decide that? It's like we don't have a disease. We do it. It's a vibration in our cellular structure. So what is it about? How do we need to change that in order for homeostasis to be in play? So when I'm asked to donate to curing some disease, I always decline. And when there's a program that's dedicated to teaching people how to bring their blueprint for perfect health back into alignment, I'll donate to that. What you thought? So, because that might be a trigger for you, so there might be an opportunity to just break that out. And so, that being said, this idea of stress, what we focus on expands. So when we're creating programs to alleviate stress, we're actually focusing on the stress. But you can't study anti-terrorism without studying terrorism. You can't be anti-anything without engaging in the thing itself. So you can't be anti-war without studying war. You can't be anti-poverty without having an impoverished mentality. Because the one vibration is poverty, and one vibration is prosperity. Let's use the word prosperity. There's many words, abundance, prosperity, whatever you want to use. So these are two different vibrations. You don't get rid of this vibration by being anti this vibration. You get rid of this vibration by not focusing on it, and by focusing on this instead. So you don't want to say to yourself, I don't want this to happen, because the thing that you don't want is the thing that happens. What you want to declare instead is the thing you want. So instead of saying, I don't want to be overweight, you say, I am now slim. Instead of saying, I don't want a partner that cheats, instead you say, I am now experiencing a partner that's loyal. And then you got to make sure that when you say those words, you're in alignment with them. Because when you say the word loyal, what you're really thinking is that bastard better not cheat. Then you're still back here in this vibration. So there needs to be a level of transparency and honesty with yourself, where you really are truthful in what patterns of thinking that you're running. So when you consider the stress thing on Monday morning, what the hell? Like, why are these people knocking off at 8 in the morning on Monday? It's because they don't like what they do. And they're all wound up about not liking what they do. There's nothing more expansive than A, not liking what you do, and then B, getting wound up about not liking it. Like, what a waste of energy. Instead, why not, remember I said come to peace with where you are, and then change it, and bloody change it. Like, turn it into what it is you want. So, again, it comes back to, if your life doesn't look the way you want it to, you either haven't changed it, in other words, you like the chaos, or you have a limiting belief running in the background that you're needing to clear. And the best way to clear it is to connect to source, delete, destroy, and dissolve, and then insert the thing you say you want. So would you like to experience an alignment between your head and your heart?
Yes.
So I'll come in the room, honey. So before I teach this to you, I want to give you another tool. So there's a thing called the Great Invocation. It's actually you may have heard of this. It's pretty common. It might be, you might term it as a prayer or whatever you want to term it as. But so there's an affirmation or a prayer called the Great Invocation, and what it does is it aligns your head with your heart. So when your head is disconnected from your heart, then we disconnect ourselves from getting the spiritual understanding to the limitations in our lives. And so where I started this off with talking about heart attacks at 8 a.m. on Monday morning, this is a meme of people, or these are people that have bought into a meme that work is not supposed to be joy or fulfillment. That is something that you sign on to and you have to do, because that's what you do when you're an adult. You stop as an adult, you stop playing, you stop imagining, and you work. And you work yourself to death, and you cut yourself off from play, and it's not supposed to be fun. And if people are having fun at it and they're not too serious about it, then they're clearly not mature. This is the belief system. So when you subscribe to that, who would have a heart attack having to walk into that on Monday morning?
But I was still they're not working too. It's right so that they're not working.
Because you're having fun.
Yeah, because you're having fun. Yeah.
Yeah. So here's a great invocation. I want to introduce you to a concept, and then I'm going to get into the brain syndicate, okay? So the brain syndicate is in our skull, okay? The brain sits in our skull, and there's a right and left hemisphere of our brain. And when our head and our heart are not communicating, we have a tendency to be too heady about things. And when we have a tendency to be too heady about things, then we typically are kind of hard on ourselves, you know? But when we can bring the heart into the mix, and we can connect the dots between the head and the heart, then the ego can let up on its driving, pushing force over us and relax, because we will always pull in everything we ask for. And when you get to that place within yourself that you trust the process of life, you are always pulling in that which you ask for, then everything in your existence changes. So you may or may not change your career, but let's say you don't, but you actually start to love what you do. Like that would be a shift in and of itself. So the process I'm going to take you through is to introduce you experientially to your brain syndicate, and then show you how to balance out how the neural pathways fire between your brain syndicate, which is your pituitary, your pineal, and your hippocampus. Did I use that one? Okay. Oh, no, it did change. Oh, it's just a little slow on the uptake. Okay. I'll come back to that. Okay, so in our head is our brain, and there's a right and left hemisphere to our brain. And so the pineal gland, the top diagram, if you look at the top diagram, you can see where the pituitary gland sits, like right behind your eyes. You know, where they talk about the third eye, it's like right behind your eyes. And then there's the pineal gland, which is just, you know, more, if you were to go in through the back of the skull, it's like more through here, right? So this is your pineal gland. And then there's your thalamus and your hypothalamus. So this is all about metabolism and creating neural pathways of thought, emotion, okay? So if you're challenged with metabolizing food, then you need to just dial up your thalamus and your hypothalamus. And you can do that through thought. You can actually go in and create it. And you can do the same thing with health in your body. So if you have a problem with your, like let's say we're talking about a terminal illness and there's a red blood cell or a white blood cell issue, you can actually go into the bloodstream and you can build up your red and white blood cell count. Because that's giving attention to what you want instead of giving attention to the discord or the disharmony or the disease that's sitting in the body, right? And so the hippocampus is actually right in between the pituitary and the pineal, like right around the hypothalamus area. And it's your hippocampus that's responsible for building up your neural pathways. And that looks like that. So this is a neural network that you would use on a circuit board that is not very much unlike your own brain. How your own brain builds up and creates patterns of thinking, okay? It's a circuit board. And so you can build up your own circuitry. Well, you do build up your own circuitry through the thoughts you think and the beliefs you hold. Do you want me to say that again?
Yes.
So you build up your own circuitry through the thoughts you think and the beliefs you hold. So you can change that circuit board anytime you want. When we come in as a baby, we come in with a soul that is like the great recorder, and it remembers every experience we've ever had in any lifetime, in any existence, in any embodiment. And then we get to decide what to do with that in this lifetime. So we set up all of these experiences that allow us to change that circuitry. And we can build new circuitry, new equipment. So when I say, if you're struggling with something and I say to you, you just need to build up new equipment, you can actually build up new brain equipment, new brain circuitry, and pattern it to program it to pattern it to fire the way you want it to, instead of the way you don't want it to, right? And this kind of demystifies success in your life. So the point is, if you own your own business, or you're an entrepreneur, or you work for an organization, why not make it the way you want it to be, instead of building up all this ridiculous stuff around what you can't have, what you can't do, how hard it is, and all of that other stuff you feed yourself. And just, take off the cloak of resistance and just allow the flow. Does that make sense to you? I remember last night I had this conversation, and we were talking her business, and I said, the beauty of your business applies to all of you. All you have to do every day, get dressed, look good, and go out in the world and talk to people. How hard can it be? It's a beautiful thing. You just go out and you go, this is what I have. Are you in need of it today? No. Okay, well, you might be tomorrow, so here's my number. Call me. I'll be waiting for your call, and we'll then deliver the service. And here's what we'll charge you. And everybody's happy. But you don't have to do this, nobody likes me. Business is hard. Economy's bad, sales, do any of that. That's not true. What you have to do is get out of bed in the morning, look good, align with source, and go out and be of service. It's really that simple, because everybody out there wants what you have. None of us can be our own chiropractors, attorneys, loan agents, dry cleaners, heating and air conditioning, whatever. That's why we all have different gifts and talents, so we're here to share of those. And the exchange of energy for that, currently on the planet, is money. So the bigger problem you solve for people, the more you can charge. So you walk into a situation, and it's like, wow, I'm gonna have to really jump through hoops to make this happen, because of the choices you've made in your life and the way you've set yourself up. So I'm gonna have to charge you for my expertise. And then it's up to them. They decide how much they want it. How bad do you want it? You don't want it that bad? Okay, no problem. Someone else does. So you can totally, separate yourself from this game that it's hard, because it's not. But when you separate yourself from that game, then this circuitry redefines itself. So let's say you're eating something that, there's beliefs, right? There's social beliefs, like I can't eat cake because it's bad for me, it'll make me fat. Well, guess what'll happen?
Eat a lot of cake.
Yeah, it just totally throws you off. Or, it's flu season. Oh my God, who declared that? Guess who? The pharmaceutical companies. It's no such, since when? The way I grew up, it was autumn, winter, spring, and summer. We didn't have a flu season where I grew up. So be careful, you've got to be aware, because if you're not aware, you'll get sucked down the rabbit hole with all of the consciousness that wants to play victim. So the alignment between your brain circuitry and your thought patterns is the difference that makes the difference. So in the great invocation, I was awakened the other night at like 2 in the morning with this teaching going, this download coming into me. And I saw all of this play out. So the great invocation goes like this. From the point of light within the mind of God, right? From the point of light, where did I take you before? To the light, right? So if you want to close your eyes for this, you're welcome to. So from the point of light within the mind of God, let light stream forth into the minds of men. So let that light come into your world. And then your world unfolds. And you don't have to force anything. Let light descend on earth. From the point of love within the heart of God, let light stream forth into the hearts of men. So go ahead and just close your eyes. I'm going to show you how to connect your head with your heart. So I want you to imagine, first of all, just make sure your feet are on the floor. Any pens or books or phones or things you're straddling, just put them all on the floor. And then you don't have to try to hold yourself so nothing falls, right? Just relax. All right. So just take a deep breath in. And I just want you to imagine a stream of white light coming down from the top of your head. It's a stream of white light coming down from the top of your head. And that stream of white light just comes right down from the top of your head, right down to the center of your being. Through your neck, through your torso, through your pelvis, all the way down your legs, through your feet, into the floor, and down into the center of the earth. Right into the center of the earth. And imagine there's a big wooden spindle in the center of the earth, and that stream of white light just wraps around that spindle. And as it does, it anchors you and centers you into your body, completely into your body. And now I'm just going to do a little tune-up on your energy. So as you remain connected to the earth and completely grounded, I want you to imagine that white light coming back up through the earth. And as it comes into your root chakra, which is right at the base of your spine, I want you to see it the color red. Just see it the color red. And let that light continue up through your body into your second chakra, which is just above your pubic bone, just below your navel. And see that as the color orange. Now, this chakra, I want you to just tune it up. So I want you to go ahead and see it spinning clockwise in the front. See it spinning counterclockwise in the back. So that red root chakra is just sort of your primal energy source, if you will. sort of like your baseline. As we move up to that second chakra, that's your creativity around money, allowing in more money, allowing more flow. It also affects your reproductive and sex organs. Just any energy blockages there, just clear those out. Just see that clear channel. And then go ahead and run that light up into your solar plexus, which is just above your navel. Go ahead and spin that chakra clockwise to the right, counterclockwise to the left. And this is the space where you just address life from. It's creative. It's allowing in flow of guidance, inspired action, taking action on ideas. Just go ahead and clean out that chakra. And then go ahead and bring that energy up into your heart, where it's a beautiful, vivid green. And that chakra spins clockwise in the front. You kind of look like a wheel and just flowing counterclockwise in the back. And this is the space of unconditional love. When you center this space, every other energy center in your beingness comes into alignment. And just go ahead and spin that chakra clockwise in the front, clockwise in the back. This is where your divine guidance shows up. When this chakra opens, this is a space of unconditional self-love. When you encounter another person, regardless where they're at, when you encounter another situation, regardless what it is, when you encounter it from a place of unconditional love, you just diffuse all the negativity. Doesn't mean the negativity doesn't happen, it just means that it doesn't impact you. And now I want you to go up into your throat. See that as the most beautiful, rich blue. Go ahead and spin that chakra clockwise in the front and counterclockwise in the back. This is where you speak your truth from. This is where the quality of your self-talk comes from. And the quality of the language that you use with others as well as with yourself. Asking for what you want in life. Asking for things the way you want them. And then just move that energy right up into your third eye, which is between your eyebrows. And it's a beautiful color, purple. And go ahead and spin that clockwise in the front, counterclockwise in the back. And I want you to imagine that purple light being a rod of purple light entering your forehead and your third eye, going right through the center of your skull, between the left and right hemisphere of your brain, right through your pineal gland, right through your pituitary gland, and out the back of your head. And now I want you to take your attention to the top of your head, the crown, the top of your head. And I want you to see the top of your head opening like a lotus flower. And above the top of your head is a giant, beautiful, golden orb filled with liquid gold. And go ahead and imagine that liquid gold pouring down into the center of your skull. Pouring right down into the center of your skull. And beginning to fill up your entire skull with liquid gold. And as it does, it enters into all the gray matter of both hemispheres of your brain, filling up the gray matter with liquid gold until both hemispheres of your brain are completely filled with liquid gold. Your entire skull is filled with liquid gold. And right in the center of your skull, where that beam of white light intersects with your the purple light that's coming through your third eye, it creates a cross in the center of your skull. And I want you to imagine yourself sitting on that cross, your feet dangling over the edge. You're just sitting there. This is 0 point. This is your connection to your Creator. This is the light above. This is your space where you can go anytime to reconnect to Source. And so in this place, you can ask for anything you want. I am so grateful and so thankful that my consistent weekly income is X. I am so grateful and so thankful that I have that now. I am so grateful and so thankful that I experience joy in my life. I am so grateful and so thankful for me being me. I am so grateful and so thankful that all my needs are met, all my wants are covered, and I have a surplus of money left over to help others. And I'm so grateful and thankful that all the questions I had have already been answered just by showing up today. And I'm so grateful and so thankful for me being me. And I make money just by being me. I'm so grateful and so thankful that I found my self-worth, that I am enough. I know I'm enough. I'm more than enough. You can go ahead and you can notice that liquid gold is pouring down through the center of your neck, into your heart. You can go ahead and you can lift that liquid gold from your third eye, down through your heart, through your torso, through your, to the other side of your body, and back up into your third eye, right into the center of your skull. And you can keep running that loop. As the liquid gold pours through all of your veins, as your heart pumps liquid gold through all of the veins and all of your limbs, all of your joints, all of your fingers, all of your torso, all of your organs, your stomach, your pancreas, your appendix, your liver, your gallbladder, your kidneys, your digestive system, your lungs, your respiratory system, your immune system, your circulatory system, your endocrine system, entering your bone marrow, filling up the center of all of the bones of your entire being. Healing your metabolism, restoring your youth, your vitality, bringing you to a place of peace, love, and joy, and grace. And I want you to go ahead and just, let's do a little tune-up on that root chakra. I want you to attach a gauge to it and just see on a scale of 1 to 100 what the oscillation is. And then that way to just move the oscillation up the scale. Up 10, up 20, up 30, up 50, up to 70, up to 100. Now I want you to bring it down to 80, to 60, to 40, and down, and just settle it at 30, and just lock it into place. And then move up to your second chakra, just above your pubic bone. We'll same process, so go ahead and plug in that gauge, 0 to 100. Let's take a look at where it registers. And then let's just move it up the scale. From 30 to 60 to 80 to 100. This is also where you receive money through, it's your second chakra. So this is where you can address any of your limiting beliefs around receiving money. And now you can go ahead and bring it down to 70, to 50, and lock it in place at 30. And now if you could just come into your solar plexus, which is just above your navel, attach that gauge, and see where it lands, and then let's rev it up. Let's bring it up to 40, to 60, 80, and up to 100. So any place there may be any stagnation and being creative around creating the life you want to create. Any limiting beliefs that may be blocking that. You can address them here and you can dissolve them with gold. And then let's bring that revving down. Let's bring it down to 70, leave it at 50. Let's lock it into place at 50. I just want you to say thank you to yourself during this process. I want you to thank yourself and acknowledge yourself for bringing yourself here today. So you might have thought there was many reasons why you couldn't. But now you know that none of that is true. And that story is just something that would keep you small. As you step into this space, into your oneness, you gather up all the parts of you that have worked against one another, and bring them all into this oneness. Ready to open your eyes if you want to make a couple notes. All right, so questions, thoughts?
Not saying.
I'm sorry?
It was really good.
Yeah,
good center, the energy, just,
yeah, it's nice to come into your body.
It's an interesting process.
I don't feel the whole energy in the room. It's so neutral.
Tranquil. Tranquil, yeah. Yeah. What else? Peace.
Makes you feel like everything else matters. Any stress you might have, it's not even something.
Right.
It's just there. There.
Relaxing.
Sorry.
Relaxing.
Relaxing, yeah. Well said. Imagine if you did this after lunch instead of coffee.
Because it feels refreshing. Kind of be more.
Yeah.
Process like that. Because obviously, for a lot of us, we got up early, whether it's just getting on the train, getting in traffic, so it's kind of go to get here. But that's just like refreshing. It's like it's kind of getting my energy. You can like go forward, like okay, what's next? Let's go. What's happening?
Yeah, it's like, so, when we disconnect from source, then we have to look outside of us for stimulants to keep us going through the day. And what compounds on that is if we're dealing with people that are unable to stand on their own and they need to pull energy from other people, we all know people like that, right? So then we even become more depleted. So we even have a tendency to more reach for sugar, or more reach for caffeine, or more reach for carbs, or cigarettes, or whatever it is you think, or maybe it's just thinking like, I can't do this day is horrible, like whatever that is. So if you do this instead, when you connect to source, which is an infinite well of love, then you just refill your cup, and then you just go, totally recharged to the rest of your day. And then you don't have to look outside of you for answers, energy, acceptance, love, success, because it comes from you. And then you get to be more you. Right? So what I'd like to do now is I want to just take a minute. I would like you to write down some goals that are important to you, that you'd like to have come to fruition. Yeah. achieve? What are a few things you'd like to achieve? And you can pick a money goal. It's always useful. A money goal. Money goals are good. Then we can just remove all the blocks around money.
Without the name. Quantify.
What's that?
Quantify.
Definitely. Okay, you can add to that as I go on. So when we look at the energy of love, when we talk about unconditional love, because people would talk about unconditional love forever. So the thing around unconditional love that typically doesn't get discussed is that it really needs to be unconditional. So unconditional love is that things don't have to look a certain way for you to be okay with you. That's unconditional love. You see, the thing is about monetary and material goals is we usually think that we'll be happier once we get them. And actually, it doesn't make any difference. It creates more responsibility, perhaps. There's a momentary, yeah, I'm cool because I have this car, house, suit, watch, trophy wife, boyfriend, whatever. And then it all wears off because then there's a responsibility around maintaining all of it. So, and then there's society saying that there's something bigger, brighter, shinier, and better. And that now that we're in the success game, now we have to be, now where are we on the scale of the success game? So if the entry level of the success game is, say, a BMW or a Mercedes, then once you start to play that game, then suddenly you roll to the bottom of the success hierarchy because you're not driving a Maybach or a Bugatti or, you know, you start to play that game. So it really does come down to truly being in a place of self-love. And so when you're truly in a place of self-love, you're loving yourself regardless what you have or don't have. Like, I'm enough, just the way I am. And then from there, then you create from there. Then you don't have to browbeat or stuff it down anyone's throat. You can just be an offer, like, here's the offer. And know that if someone says no, that there's lots who will say yes. Now that doesn't mean that in your sales process you're not overcoming their objections. Because most people will go into a sales process with their armor on to say no. So it's okay to challenge their limitations. That's fine, and it's pretty normal. Because if you don't, someone else will come along and sell them the widget behind you. So it's okay to, and it's important that you challenge their objections. What I am saying that you're not attached to, your self-worth is not attached to them saying yes. That's what I'm saying to you. So people that have rejection issues, like fear of rejection, call reluctance, that sort of stuff, they've somewhere in their past attached their self-worth to closing the deal. And it probably comes from childhood. It probably comes from not being accepted in childhood. Probably somewhere between 0 and 7. So the best way to overcome fear of rejection or call reluctance or just, you know, getting yourself out there, whatever that means for you, is just self-love. In fact, if you have a gift and a talent and an offering that people need, and you don't go out there, then you're actually doing the contrary of self-love. So you owe it to yourself, and you owe it to the greater part of you, which is connected to every other person, to give your offering. That's why you're good at it. That's why you've chosen it. You've chosen it because it needs to be sold or told or offered. So if you start telling yourself stories like, oh, I'll call later, or what do they want it, or whatever story you tell yourself, then what you're really doing is you're blocking yourself from your greatness. So in the unconditional part of it, it's just allowing yourself to receive. Right? So in neurolinguistic programming, it's the thought patterns that create the emotion, and it happens at a neurological level. So when we say NLP, and you know, there's a lot of NLP trainers on the planet, and everybody teaches it from a different place because it depends on where that trainer is at in their consciousness. So there's some people that use NLP to pick up girls. There's some people that use NLP to manipulate their money. Some people use NLP to get free hotel rooms and good deals and the best table in restaurants. And all that can be fun as long as, you know, it's not harming anything except for the picking up girls part. But the thing is that depending on who's teaching the NLP, it's going to be how you get taught NLP. So if you're being taught NLP by someone who's egoic, and you know, the old beat the chest, rah, 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 you know, it's like, okay, what do we come from the dark ages? Because that's not really how you pattern your neurology. Your neurology is created through self-love, the highest form of your neurology. So what it really is about is building up the bandwidth on good, positive thought patterns that then produce good, positive emotions, which then produce good, positive behavior, and that produces good, positive results. And once you get on that path of doing that, then you build up more bandwidth, and it starts to propagate itself. So once you build up some bandwidth on self-love, positive thinking, acknowledging your worth, acknowledging the worth in others, and you've stepped out of that negative reinforcement of, I'm not enough, therefore I have to work night and day to prove to the world that I'm not enough because I haven't accepted myself yet. So when you go through that process, then what you actually do is you create blocks for yourself. So instead what we want to do is we want to build up the bandwidth on your self-love, build up the bandwidth on your positive self-talk, and from that then all things come from there. Yeah.
This is bringing up for me that unconditional love of self is unconditional created from there. Is that sometimes some people have a vocation and an avocation. And what would happen to me is I would write a poem and then, or get involved in a downtown activity, or even say something critical about what's happening downtown. Then all of a sudden, I get a deal out of nowhere. And is this similar to, I love myself, I expressed myself, and even though it wasn't in the work, I ended up making money on it.
Yeah, because it's not always direct. It's not always direct. In fact, many times it's not direct. Do you remember earlier when I said that I created a new pattern, and last night was one of my new pattern nights, and I went out and had dinner at the bar, and then I started talking to all these people. Well, we were at lunch, one of those people called me. It was like, I want to talk to you about your seminar, I looked at your website. So it's that, it's giving yourself the space to have fun and to not make it have to always be about work. So if you want to heal something in your life, play more. Go play. Because that's where the shift comes. So go to the park and play on the swings. Go to Magic Mountain and play on the roller coasters. Go to a pool party and play in the pool with the water guns. Like, go play. Have fun. Do crazy stuff. Get out of the norm of living a particular way. And I would suggest that just do it on your own. Don't wait for someone to come along. I remember there was a band I wanted to see, and I went out and I bought tickets. I didn't know who I was taking, but I thought I was just going to pick up some extra tickets. So as it turned out, the people that I asked, nobody was into the band I was into. So I gave the tickets away and I went by myself. What was so cool is when I got there, they actually gave me a front row seat. My tickets were for further back. They gave me a front row seat. And people that were standing behind me were watching me have so much fun that they came and stood beside me after the concert started. And at the end of the night, they invited me to a party. I was up till 5 in the morning. I had so much fun, and I met a whole new group of people. So you have to be willing to play. If you're not willing to allow that kind of stuff into your life, then you just won't have the opportunity to repattern yourself on the fly. See, I used to make this about it being real serious, where you needed to have a sit-down session and repattern yourself. And no. You just do it when you're having fun. Some of the best repatterning sessions I've had is like playing volleyball on the beach. Or going mud running, like doing stuff that's completely outside of the scope of what you normally do. And then the linguistic is the self-talk. How we speak to ourselves and how we speak to others about life. Linguistics actually create patterning in our neurology. So when we get into neuroscience, the reason I use NLP as a toolbox is because it gives you the ability to repattern and reprogram every aspect of your belief system that no longer serves you. And the nice thing about learning NLP is that as you outgrow your belief systems, because as you evolve, you can use the tools to repattern yourself again and again and again. So it's kind of one of those deals that keeps fueling you. And then the programming is literally the repatterning. So you have to expect to win. You have to expect whatever it is you're asking for, whatever goal you go down, you have to expect to get it. If you write it down but you don't expect it to happen, you negate it coming through you. So when I say what you're seeking is seeking you, what that means is you're the physical vessel for that goal, that expression of source to manifest on the physical plane. So what that means is as, let's say, as the world evolves and we become more efficient and effective in what we do, then it frees up humanity to be more creative. So where some people see it as a loss of jobs, I see it as an opportunity for people to not dumb themselves down and do jobs that are not emphasizing your greatness. Let a machine do a job that doesn't emphasize your greatness, so it frees you up to choose a job that does. Does that make sense to you? Like, it's all about how you look at it. So that's a glass half full. You know, let's say the wage increase, the minimum wage increase. So that, to me, that's an opportunity for all of us to start to realize that we're worth more than starvation. You know, who can live on $10 an hour, right? Where can you put that? Like, you can't even buy 2 whole coffees for $10. You know, that's only a day and a half of coffee. It's only your breakfast coffee and your part of your mid-afternoon coffee. So when you think about this, it's like, okay, so we can look at it from, all right, it's going to just drive the cost of everything up. That's one way of looking at it. But that's a glass half empty book. That's a glass half empty view. And that's what keeps us all stuck in poverty. That's a scarcity mentality. So how can we look at it instead? Well, we could look at it as being an opportunity for us to realize that money is just energy. It's just energy. So that's a whole other conversation. We don't have all day for that. So the thing is that reprogramming is repatterning ourselves through our expectations. Henry Ford said it perfectly. If you think you cannot, you're right. You've got to expect to win. Whatever you go into every day expecting is what you're going to get. Now, I know it can be, in the beginning, it can be tricky to go through this process, because what happens is when you reach higher, like if you look at your goals, when you reach higher with those goals, you set a goal, what it does is it propels you into a higher expectation. So you need to then expect to have it. But if you write those goals down, and then everything else in your life that comes along that is a representation of that goal you say no to, you're basically saying no to the goal. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Do you want me to reframe that?
Yes.
Yeah?
Yes.
Okay, so when you write down a goal, what you're actually doing is assuming the goal is truly a stretch for you, and you're not playing small or playing safe, okay? Or that word realistic. As long as you're not being realistic and you're writing down an unrealistic goal, then it's actually causing you to reach higher. Whenever you start to reach higher, then everything that's in your belief system that's the opposite of that reach has to come up for you to let go and for you to release. So let's say you set that goal and you reach really high, and then all of this self-talk comes up about, oh, who do you think you are? Well, that's really hard. Well, that's going to take a long time, or this is too big of a goal, or this is too much to take on, or or what will your family, neighbors, how, spouse, whatever think. When you do that to yourself, you're completely negating the potential of the goal showing up in your life. So you want to hold that thought. So you want to keep your own counsel on your goals. I cannot tell you how many people I've worked with that have had to go home and talk it over with their spouse, and then their spouse poo-poos whatever it is they say they're going after, because the spouse isn't doing the work. And if your spouse isn't on the same path doing the work, ideally more work than you, because if they're doing less work than you, then you're going to always default to them. Because your spouse has no idea. It's like the example of Sal and his brother. So Sal comes here, comes to class, and then goes home and visits, and they're like, what planet did Sal just come from? What spaceship did you just step off of? Where did my brother go? Like, I don't have anybody to commiserate with now. So he brings his brother to class. Not every family's going to come to class. So you need to keep your own counsel. The last thing you want to do is take this home and try to convince your family, unless they're actually going to show up. Because 9 times out of 10, you did very well, because 9 times out of 10, they don't show up. They're busy, right? So guess what happens? It's like when I go into companies and I do consulting work. The most dysfunctional person in a family always controls the family dynamic. The most dysfunctional person in a company, the company always defaults to that dysfunction at some stage of the game. So in a family, the family will start to rise up to, or a person, it's like the crab theory, right? The crab theory. So the crabs are in the container, and one crab starts to get out, and they reach up and pull them down in. So you got to keep your own counsel on your goals. And if you're doing this kind of work, then you need to just do this kind of work on your own. Because your spouse has no idea the process you've been through. And instead of trying to get them to come along with you, just work more on you. Because when you're being more of you, more of your authentic self, then they'll want to come along. But you need to let them ask for it. So,
what happens when it comes in the form of you share it? So it's not a spouse, but the negativity comes from others. Or if you don't, let's say you commit to yourself, and then these challenges come in the form of people around you. How do you decipher that? Like, what does that mean? Does that mean that they're picking up on it? Is that the negativity band that you have to go through in order to get to the other side?
Yeah, so what I always do, I have a good one for this. So what I've done when I've dated guys is I've looked at what they trigger in me as my self-growth. So if I go out with someone and they do something or say something that I don't like, then I look at what I need to work on in me. It doesn't mean I go out with them again, but it's an opportunity for me to look at what I'm projecting, right? So those people are in your life to help you from a higher mind perspective. I wouldn't say that to them because that's not something that the ego would understand, but you can thank them silently because they're just basically a reflection of you releasing your old patterns of limitation. They're just vocalizing what you're releasing.
So you telling me at no point in the time they're releasing their own negativity is always...
Oh, they could be, but we're not going there. We're not here to fix other people.
Because we're owning it.
Yeah.
I see what you're saying. Because we're owning it, this is what it means.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah, because the more we think we need them to get it for us to be okay is such a projection. Nobody needs to get anything for us to be awesome. All we need to do is just choose to be awesome. Just choose to be our most authentic self. And then whether other people get it or not is irrelevant. That's up to them. You have no control over that. So stop projecting. So if any of you are doing that, if you're projecting onto your other person in your life that they need to get something because you just want them to get it so bad, that's just you projecting. So focus on you instead. Yeah, Jessica.
Oh, when you said that, it just reminded me, like, perfect example happened to me yesterday. Exactly the last time we spoke, we talked about a limiting belief of mine, and that was less than a week ago. Yesterday, someone that I know brought up what I would have thought to say to myself, but I destroyed, and just dissolved that limiting belief when we had a discussion. And I released it, and I let it go, and I chose faith over fear. So when he brought that up to me, my first instinct was like, wow, I need to figure out a way of how to rebuttal this without, I didn't get offended, but how do I rebuttal this? But then now you just reaffirmed, I don't need to rebuttal it, because I know I'm true to myself now, and I know what I know.
Yeah.
It doesn't matter. That's coming up because I've just released it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's gone. It's done. Chris.
Just somewhat of a side thought. The whole, when you have goals you reach, and then you have this opposite end of the spectrum challenge come so that you can resolve it. It reminds me, I guess, of game developers and how, in order for you to get to the next level, you have some sort of objective to take care of and beat in order for you to upgrade to the next level.
Yeah.
So that analogy just kind
That
of,
works for you?
yeah, just,
Yeah.
yeah. It works.
Hold on.
Can you go back and elaborate a little bit more on the projecting onto someone else? You were talking about a minute ago. I just need more of it.
Yeah.
Project on.
Okay, so I guess, let's put it this way. So what's the point in becoming so clear if we are not able to acknowledge the annoying dysfunction of others and then point out to them how much better their life would be if they just were different?
Wait, what was the question? Wait, what did you
So, what's the point in becoming so conscious if we're not able to point out the annoying dysfunction of others and then tell them that if they just learned something else that they'd be okay, right? So that's a projection. So all we have to do is nothing. It's just about being. Just be the thing you want to see in the world. One time I was in San Jose and I was speaking, this title company hired me to come in and do the keynote for their annual conference. And there was a woman in the audience and she said, yabba, 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 yabba. What about finding like that perfect husband, like finding the husband that I want? And I said to her, be the thing that you want to have in that person. When you're in alignment with that you say you want, then that will show up in the physical form of a guy with a ring.
It's like throwing it on the universe, right? It's coming back.
Right. So.
I just had a question. When it comes to goals and other things come up on the contrary,
Yeah.
if I go out and trash and why do these things come up?
Because they're in the way. So what happens is this. So we have circuitry on, say, limiting beliefs, for example, right? And then we say to ourselves, well, I really want to have a different life, or I want my life to look like X. And so when we go for X, this has to change. And the only way for this to change is for us to see it. So in order to repattern that circuitry to higher levels of functionality, aka a goal, right? We've got to look at the circuitry and change the circuitry. And you can change the circuitry by making a choice. Remember, there's two things. There's observation and there's choice. So you can look at the circuitry, but if you don't make a choice to change it, it will remain the same. Does that answer your question?
Yeah.
Okay. So whatever, the cool thing is this, whatever belief, limiting belief you have, or negative emotion, whatever is in your unconscious that is the opposite of the goal, when you choose the goal, when you choose to take a greater responsibility for more of your life, what that means is your greatness, then everything that is in your belief system that is not great, or that is contrary or the opposite of greatness, will roll up for you to release and dissolve and destroy. Okay.
Some of this is a little tough for commercial real estate. In other words,
Said by every person in the room. My industry is different. This doesn't apply.
well, I have these clients that were so bad that I left them. Now, is that, in other words, I just couldn't stand working?
That's beautiful.
Oh, okay, but if I really had it together,
No.
they shouldn't have bothered me. That's what's confusing me.
Well, it could be either or. So it could be an and. So you have a choice, you know, and this is the beauty of it. I'll give you an example. So I had a jeweler come to me that makes this line of extraordinary pieces, just beautiful. And they could be very high-end, it could be a very high-end label if they did it right. And wanted me to structure all of that. And I chose not to take the project because of how they, you know, their ethics just weren't in alignment. And there were some other things too, like just thinking that if they gave me enough money that I would get the back call. It's like, no, it doesn't work that way.
So I have a corollary question.
So you have a choice.
And I should be able to find clients that match up with my
That's right.
expectation, even if it is commercial real estate.
Yeah, because maybe somewhere in your belief system, you have a belief system around the type of people that have the money to buy commercial real estate, and that those people are unsavory people. So maybe you need to change your belief system around that.
Okay, that's
Yeah.
good. Oh, the second part.
Yeah, that's awesome. Yeah, because, you know, again, like I've made lists of like beliefs, limiting beliefs that people have had, you know, like the root of all evil is money, like rich people are rude and obnoxious, and, you know, all kinds of things. And it's like, okay, well, if you want to run that, then guess who you'll bring into your existence? So it's up to you how you want to design it, and where you put your attention and what your beliefs are. Yeah.
See, before, I used to get so attached. And even though we had a choice, I was being attached because I didn't want to lose that deal, you know? It meant a lot to me. But over the past months, I've learned that I need to detach, and I need to also say no when it's not the right match.
Yeah.
And as much as I want that deal, I have to say, you know what? I can't take it.
Yeah, well, your ego thinks it wants the deal. It's coming from a place of scarcity. Like your ego is saying, what are you kidding? If you don't take this deal, then what are you gonna do? So you have to have this money, you need this money. But that's your ego buying into scarcity. And the cool thing is that when you choose the higher vibration and you say no to the lower vibration, then the floodgates open. You have to say goodbye to the smaller stuff or the egoic stuff because it's a lower frequency. And I'm gonna give you guys a break and then we'll talk about frequency. So, any other questions? You guys need a break?